Hello, everyone. Welcome to Live Trading Thursday. My name is David. It's December 1st today. Last week we did not meet because it was Thanksgiving. So I hope you all had a very wonderful Thanksgiving with friends and family, and that it was a good time to just take off, not look at the market, relax, and have a good day off to recharge. But, guys, today we're going to be jumping right back into it, and we've got a lot to look at. So I want to hear from you, though, guys. For several weeks, we had a lot of tickers thrown in, and it was awesome to look at that. Last few weeks, it's been pretty slow on the tickers. So I want us to ramp that up. Let's get those tickers. This is really for you. I can throw random tickers out there and we can kind of analyze stuff, but that's not as valuable as you sending in your trades that you want to look at. So I really want to look at trades that you are considering, maybe trades that you're in, or even historical trades. So please do send in those trades, and let's see what we can find here. Keep in mind that all these examples in this live trading session should be viewed for education purposes and not taken as trading or investment advice. All right, let's dive in here. Hey, Benjamin, how you doing? Glad to see you there. Let me share my screen. There we go. All right, so we've got the S&P, and for the last month and a half, it's been on a nice little bullish run, right? I mean, it kind of feels like this back here where it's like, yeah, we're in a bear market, but we've been pretty bullish. So nice little bearish or bullish run here. And I'm actually going to redraw a couple lines for us here because I want to take a look at a couple things. This support line is kind of shaping out to be pretty decent there. Yesterday, you can see a big move up off of the 20-day EMA. Didn't quite come back down to the support line, but that's okay. I mean, maybe I pull this down here, and maybe that's a little closer too. So somewhere in there, we're going to have a pretty decent support line forming. And again, big move up yesterday. The big thing, we closed above the 200 simple. That's a big deal. That's a really big deal because we came right up to it back here and we did not make it above the 200 simple there. One thing I should put a line on here, this downtrending resistance line. Let's take a look at this, right? So this line has got to be on the chart. It's going to be somewhere right around there. That's pretty close. And we look at where we are today. It's right there, guys. So yeah, we cleared the 200 for now, but we're still right at resistance. Okay. So I wouldn't get all crazy bullish right now until we can break that line. But if we break that line and then push up off that line or the 200 or another EMA, this uptrending support line, whatever the case, we could be looking at some decent bullish opportunities. For now, we kind of have a little bit of a wedge going, don't we? I mean, we've got this uptrending support line that's pretty decent, but we've also got this longer term downtrending resistance line. So we're stuck in a wedge, and wedges oftentimes break out violently. Which direction depends on market tone. Usually, I say that, we usually depends on market tone, but not always. There's no guarantees. There's no for sure things in the market. So the market tone overall still negative. Yeah, the last CPI report came out and it's like, hey, inflation's not quite as bad as it went down. Well, I mean, it's still up a ton, right? It's just not up quite as much as what it was before. So that's kind of that thing that the media likes to do. Let's take some bad news and figure out how to turn it into good news. But it works in the market sometimes. It does work in a short-term setting at least. But here we go, guys. Here's where we are. I'm personally a bit surprised to see us punch past the 200 on a high volume like that. I mean, that was impressive. I did not expect that personally. So if we keep moving up, what does that mean? Does that mean that this bear market, this recession, is that over, or are we gonna turn around and come down again? So lots of questions, but big move up yesterday. And, yesterday didn't even look like it was going to be a big move up for a while. It's just kind of a normal day, just down a little bit. But, there it is. All right, Benjamin, I see you there. Thank you so much for throwing that in there. Let's take a look at Tesla, guys. Let's start things off with Tesla. And that's always a fun one to look at. Pretty volatile for the most part. And let's get some let's get some lines showing on here. Okay. We had a split. That was back in August. Okay. Let's take a big picture look. So you can see where it went crazy. It started to come down, Tesla on a big picture, looking at, there's a high, the low, there's a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, now a lower low even. So, here's where we are. Not the prettiest pattern necessarily to work with, but let's throw some lines on here. You can see this overhead resistance way up here. We're not anywhere near that right now, but we're going to put that line on there anyway. We can also see some downtrending action right there. But then that was nicely broken yesterday on that big move that the market did. So, maybe Tesla's going to start moving up, and let's see where it might find some resistance. But Benjamin, I don't know if there's a specific trade you were looking at or considering on Tesla. Right now, for me, this would be a hard one to get in. I wouldn't do it bullishly yet because I want to see more of a pattern, right? Because we've got this low. You could call that a high on the short term here. Higher low, maybe a higher high. So if it came down and bounced again, maybe you could consider an aggressive short-term bullish trade. But you got this line here too, right? And we're right up at that resistance line. So it could absolutely roll right over. This line I drew here, that's not really a trend yet. I only have 2 bounces because it broke it there. So that may be coming off the chart pretty soon here. But anyways, so that is Tesla that we're looking at right there. Guys, if you have any other tickers, any other trades that you want to look at, go ahead and throw those in as well. While we're waiting, I want to show you guys another possible way that we could be looking for trades. And so we're going to come in here to our watch tab, and I'm going to come here to options. This is the stocks, options, spreads, covered calls. Those are our David Mitchell watch lists. They are already vetted for fundamentals. So, you can rest assured that they're going to be good to go as far as that leg of the trading table. Then it's our job to take a look and see, do we like the technicals on it? And how does the market tone look? So, but it does eliminate, that need to go do the research for the fundamentals. So I wanted to bring this up here and show you a few things. This is a new feature right here. Usually you're going to see it as default, and this is what we're all used to seeing on the watch tab. But our friends at iVest have been able to create some new settings in here, and they have some default settings that you can just pull up, or you can just create your own one. And so that's pretty cool. There's some different analysis that can be done to help us find a trade. So I thought it would be fun. Let's take the David Mitchell A+ watch list here, this options list, and let's look at this with the performance movement. And now you can see here that we've got several different categories, including, percentage change in the last 7 days, percentage change in the last 21 days, 30 days, 90 days, 6 months, 200, all the way to a year. And so we have all this data, and we can go all, actually, it doesn't go back too much farther than that. There's a lot of data here. Now, it can be overwhelming. Oh my goodness, what do we do with all that? Well, we're just going to look at one category here. I want to focus just for today. You could do this any which way, but just for today, let's focus on this percentage change 30-day. So now we're going to be looking at actually, I changed my mind. That's going to be 30 candlesticks. Let's do the 21-day. I was trying to get a month, right? I want to look at the last month, but 21 candlesticks is going to be closer to 1 month than 30 candlesticks, right? Because weekends were closed. So percentage change 21 days. I'm going to click on that so I can sort it highest to lowest. You can see now we've got BHP, CS, SRPT. So here are the best ones of the David Mitchell watch list in the last 21 days. So the fundamentals are already covered, right? And now we're essentially getting down to technicals where we're going to cherry pick this and see, can we look at some of the charts that have been doing the best in the last month? And so I'm going to come here. I'm going to just select a bunch of these. Maybe we'll just pick the top, I don't know, 10, 12. I'm not really counting here. Okay, we'll end with that, and I'll add MRK. Why not? All right, we'll end with that. And I'm going to go ahead and just send this, just like the old school way, right? Send it to research, and it's going to pull them all up right here. Now I'm going to pull up the chart next to it, and let's take a look at what we got. These should be, moving up very nicely because how we sorted them on their performance. Now we just need to see, okay, yeah, they moved up nicely, but is it a pretty pattern? And what do we think about market tone? Well, market tone we talked about at the beginning. Overall, it's a bit mixed right now, honestly, right? I mean, things are still not looking good overall with the economy, but in the short term, people are kind of happy because, of the CPI report that was lower and all this stuff. So, so the market tone isn't against us too much if we're looking to be bullish. All right, BHP. Is this a pretty pattern? Do we like this? Let's just start off by throwing some lines on there. Sometimes it's hard to tell, but we throw some lines on there and then we can decide better if it's pretty or not. All right, this is not the prettiest pattern, but it is kind of got a little bit of a trend there. Very steep trend, but what's one thing that we're recognizing right off the bat here? We've got earnings. It's not really earnings season, but this one must have earnings at just different time. So that's just in a few days. So I'm just going to go ahead and nix this one off the list because there's not much we can do with it right now. The pattern's just not beautiful necessarily. So let's go ahead and take BHP off the list. Zscaler. Okay, this is one that is, I was going to say traded quite a bit. I know it's a popular one to trade, but the volume is a little lower than I expected, honestly. Zscaler. So earnings are actually today on Zscaler. And so that is something we need to contend with. I wouldn't trade this right now. Maybe give it a couple days and see where things are. But overall, on the pattern, it's also not the prettiest pattern. It's kind of moving down. You got the 50-day acting as overhead resistance. So if it moves down again, give it a day or two. And if we move down again off the 50-day, could we consider a bearish trade? Look at the prices that just moved down too. This right here, this move, that went from about 158 over the course of the week down to about 115. That's a massive move. Imagine if you were in a step 2 put. You'd only have to be in that for a few days. So that could be something to consider. So we're going to leave this one on the list, right? Because this could be one that we could be looking at and seeing if something might come up. SRPT. Okay. So here we go. This one's just kind of gone straight sideways. But recently, let's draw a line here. Recently, it has kind of broken out. This line's not going to be perfect. It's more like a zone of resistance. We went above it a little bit there. But you can see, that's a touch. That's a touch. That got close there, and that's a touch right there. And then it broke out above that. And then we can go ahead and put uptrending support line. Whoops, that didn't take. There it is. So this is one I want to leave on the list as well. What if it comes back and then produces a bounce up off of there? So this could be one to keep an eye on as well. One thing, watch that volume. It's a bit low. Options could be tough on this, right? So it might be one only for a stock trade. Marty, I see STLD there. We're going to hit that one up right after we look at Lulu here. So thank you for putting that one in. That's great. So Lulu, let's grab another line. Ooh, I don't like that line. Let's redraw that line. Let's pull it off of this guy. That's a little bit better. Really moving up quite a bit. Earnings too, just in a few days. So maybe I'm off on earnings, but earnings coming up just in a few days. I like to keep Lulu on the list though. It's you can see for the last 6 months, it has wanted to move up. So I would keep it up on the list. I mean, the last month has just been a monster move for Lululemon, moving up about 30% or so in the last month and a half here. So if it can come back and produce a bounce off that uptrending support line, that would be great after earnings. So yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's take a look at STLD. Thanks, Marty. Oops, I got to type it right. STLD. Steel Dynamics. That's a good looking pattern. I like that already. You can see the 20-day is holding as support. Actually just a little bit above the 20-day even. So it's looking for something in between. Maybe it's the 15-day or something like that. But we can draw a line, right? That's a better line. You see 1, 2, 3 touches moving up today off of that line, also off the 10-day EMA. Don't have earnings coming up in the next few days, so that is a plus right there as well. Volume's a slightly low. It may be tough to do on options, but this could be one that you could consider for a simple stock trade. What would that look like if we did a simple stock trade on here? You can see our price right now is 105. What would I want my stop out to be? Well, we don't want to do more than 8%, right? Maybe if it were me, I would probably choose for a simple stock trade, maybe $99. Why? It's below this 20-day exponential moving average. So that's going for us. It's below the last pivot. It's also below 100. And there can be something psychological sometimes when we're going from 2 digits to 3 digits or in reverse, right? So it's up in the hundreds right now. Does it really want to slip back down to 2-digit numbers? Sometimes a lot of people will help it stay up there. So I would, if this were me, I would put my stop out at $99. So you're looking at about a 6% stop out right there. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. And then what's the profit target going to be, right? Well, it's a little bit harder to estimate that. You could see, well, how big have the moves been on the way up? So, this was from 92 to about 102, so that's $10. This right here was about 96 to 106. That's about $10. Move here. Okay, 102. Could we get to 112? So this could be one that maybe you shoot for 112, but you know what? If it makes it up to 108, I'm already bringing up my stop loss a little bit. If it makes it to 110, I'm bringing up that stop loss a little bit too. I don't ever want to just leave it fully exposed to lose all the gains that it has made. So that was a good one to look at. Thank you for that, Marty. All right, Benjamin wants to look at MRO. Let's do it. MRO. Marathon Oil. So oil's been, it's been an exciting one this year. It was just rocking and rolling. Then it had this big tank right down in here. Then it's moved up a little more cautiously. Big move up recently, and then we're kind of faltering a little bit lately. So, but the question is, can we still be bullish with this, or do we need to get bearish? I think, again, let's draw a few lines. That's something to contend with. If we're going to get bullish, you got to recognize we might run into some trouble there because it tried 5 days to push above that and it could not. On the support side, the 50-day seems to be holding decently. We closed above there on that day. Just a few days ago, what was that, Friday? Oh, this is Monday. Opened and then pushed up from there. But just it's not a very not inspiring right now, right? And so, man, which direction would I want to trade this? Bullishly, bearishly? And when you start asking that question, maybe it's good to just not trade it, or at least not real trade it. You can throw on a paper trade. Hey, what if we go ahead and we just throw on a paper trade? Let's say we believe it still has more bullish, momentum in it, and we see if we can catch a paper trade 28 by 27 credit spread. If we're going to draw the box, let's say that's what our credit spread is going to look like. We go out a few weeks, 28 by 27. So absolutely paper trade that, but the pattern doesn't look too promising as far as for real money. Look at this line here. The longer you look at things, sometimes I just talk so I can look at it longer, right? Look at that line. That's a pretty good line. You got some resistance, some resistance right there. And then it moved up and it came back down. And I was like, That's a random place for that wick to pivot, right? Just kind of a random place. And now you see, oh, that was resistance back here, you know? So that line could be an area of support right there. All the more reason why a 28 by 27, credit spread to paper trade, that could make sense. So that's an interesting one to consider. So thank you for that, Benjamin, as well. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for being on. Next week, we're going to have a guest, as I'm going to be traveling next week. So we're going to have a guest on next week. So be sure to be watching and bring those tickers so that, they can give their analysis as well. And then I will be with you the week after for the last live trading session of the year before we take a couple weeks of a break. Guys, one thing I want to leave with you here, we have a 10 steps to choosing your first stock trade PDF that you can sign up for. I'm going to drop it in the comment box right here. This looks like those Zoom links, but that link right there is actually going to bring you to a certain page on our website where all it takes is your name and your email. We're going to go ahead and send you a PDF, and it's 10 steps to choosing your first stock trade. So if you're new to trading, fantastic. That link is going to be perfect for you. Check that out. Use that to paper trade. Maybe some of the downtime on the holidays, it'd be a great time to just go through and do some back testing, paper trading, and just working on your craft of trading in general so that you're going to be ready to rock and roll and kick things off for the new year. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you so much for being on. Thank you for the participation, and we will see you guys next week, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.